Good morning, guys. I'm here today with Maya. We're gonna go do some stuff today. We've got some things planned. I daily drive a Tesla, and I've been daily driving a Tesla for a year. I wanted to try it out, see how it is. Charging used to be a lot cheaper initially when I bought it. It's been going up. It's actually like tripled since the time that I bought it. So it's not really as good of an option for a daily driver anymore. So I'm exploring the option of getting rid of the Tesla and getting back into something that's maybe a little more fun but still decent on fuel. That's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to go check out a few dealerships, check out a few cars. Fingers crossed that hopefully we can work out some kind of a deal today. Also, a little bit of a shameless plug. You guys may always see me wearing this Ride Fast X Enemies hoodie. I do work in collaboration with Ride Fast Crew. So if you do want to support me in any way, it helps to go to his website and purchase either a hoodie or a t-shirt with my logo on it, the Ride Fast Enemies hoodie or t-shirt. It's got my car and everything on the back drifting, and then it's got this sweet little collab on the front of the sweater. I'm really proud of that. He did a great job on it. So if you do purchase something off of his website, I do get a kickback off of it. So it helps me out, it helps him out. It's kind of a win-win for everybody. And these hoodies are really good quality. The shirts are really good quality, so I stand behind them. But hope you guys enjoy the video. So let's get the day started.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette.
We went and looked at cars. Didn't really see anything that I liked or that I could replace the Tesla with. A couple of the cars that we did looked at a couple STIs, and we went to try to find a couple Type Rs, and I couldn't find one clean enough. Funny enough, one of the STIs I went and looked at, the guys were like, "Oh yeah, it's mint," and then you get your typical dealership spiel. You go and ask like, "Oh, does it have any accidents or anything wrong with it?" So I look around this car right away, and I noticed that the front end has PPF on it, on the hood and the two fenders, but the front bumper has no PPF. So I'm like, okay, there's a good chance that the car was in an accident. So I asked the guy, I'm like, "Hey man, any accidents on this car?" And he's like, "Oh no, I think it's clean. There's no accidents." So I'm like, okay, bullshit, but all right, sure, I trust you, man. Let's look around the car. It's a nice color. It's kind of what I'm after. Price is decent. They're interested in my car, so I'm like, okay, maybe we'll make a deal. We look inside the car. I go and sit down. All three of the knobs for like the heat control, so like the fan, the temperature control, and like what ducting you want to use. I guess some guys put aftermarket knobs there, so I'm assuming the guy had aftermarket knobs. He took them off. They weren't there. He can't adjust anything, so it's just like blank holes where the HVAC is, like to turn everything on. So I was like, "What's going on with this, man?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know." He's like, "I thought that was normal." I'm like, "Oh, he's like not turning the heat on in the car is normal?" He's like, "Well, maybe I guess not." I'm like, "Okay, well, that's going to need to be fixed." He's like, yeah, no, we'll take care of everything." I'm like, okay. So fire the car up, start looking around. All the lights turn on the dash like they normally do, and then the lights are supposed to start turning off. It's got an airbag light, a traction control light, and like a hill start light on it. So I look at him, I'm like, "Hey man," I'm like, what's up with the cluster, like the airbag lights on?" He's like, "Oh no." He's like, "That's just your seatbelt." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "That's an airbag light." He starts questioning. He's like, "No, it's the seatbelt. Like, it'll turn off when you start driving." I'm like, "Bro," I'm like, "No, the seatbelt light's up here in the top corner. The bottom left is the airbag." I'm like, "So like this thing has been hit. I'm like, it's been in an accident and the airbags haven't been reset correctly. Like, what's up with that?" And he's, "Oh, I don't know." He's like, "I think it's fine." He's like, "We'll take it for a drive." I'm like, "I don't even want to drive this car." I'm like, it's not what I'm after. I don't like buying cars that, before I even take it for a test drive, it's making me question it. So he's like, "Well, just come inside and look at the Carfax." And he's like, "We'll prove to you it's all good." I'm like, "Sure, I'll entertain you." So we go inside, I meet his manager, and we start looking at the Carfax, and lo and behold, it's got a front end collision on it. I'm like, "Oh, well, there's the answer to that." He's like, "Oh, it's small, only like $3,000. I'm like, "Okay, well, yeah, I know $3,000's about a bumper cover and stuff, but still, like you said, it was like no accident. It's fine." I start flipping through all the paperwork, and I noticed that there's an inspection paper. So I was like, "Oh, is it a rebuilt?" Oh, it can't be because it's only got a $3,000 hit. So I was like, okay, well, I'm like, "Oh, it's out of province." We live on the west coast. We live here in BC in Canada. We only see snow and like salted roads maybe for like a month or so, and you know, if you stay on top of it, you can keep your car pretty clean. But rust is a pretty well-known thing up here. You got to take care of your cars in the winter seasons, and in the summers obviously it's fine. On the east coast though, like Ontario and Quebec and all that stuff, they see winter conditions that are a lot more aggressive than we do. Well, cars from out east are usually cars you want to stay away from unless it's like a nice summer car and the guy only drove it in the summer and you have proof of that. But with no proof, I'm like, okay, well, this is out of province. He's like, yeah, we got it from the east coast. Like, do you have any pictures of the underside of the car? Like, do you have a hoist? Can I take a look at it? And he's like, oh no. He's like, it's completely fine. I'm like, I'm not asking if it's fine or not. I'm like, I just want to see if it's rusty. No, it's not rusty. I'm like, well, is there a way to see it? Like, you're a dealership, you can put it in the air. No, it's not rusty. I'm like, you know what, man? I'm gonna take off. You guys are giving me some real dealership vibes. So anyways, that was one of the transactions that just didn't work out. Car was really nice. I definitely would have liked to have picked it up if it was in the condition that you would expect a dealership to have on the lot. Like, you'd expect the recon fee and everything that they charge, which, by the way, this dealership with the dock fees and everything, they wanted like $3,500 extra on top for the recon fee, the dock fee, some weird key fob fee, tire fee, this fee. I'm like, bro, all these fees were charged out when the car was new. Like, what are you doing? I hate buying from a dealership, but in this case with the Tesla, I do owe a little bit of money on it still, so I gotta look for a dealership to trade it in on and then use that value and refinance into something else. For now, I mean, that's my little spiel on my experience of looking at that car. I'm gonna continue looking. I'm kind of in the market for like a Type R or an STI like 2016 plus, or I'm gonna look at something like a GR86 or like a newer BRZ. Something along the lines of that. Something that's kind of close to what the Tesla's worth right now. Keep it in that price range so I'm not really changing a payment. Anyways, right now, I don't know if you can see it, Maya loves her dollar stores, so she ran into the dollar store. She's doing some shopping around. I'm waiting for one of my buddies, Darren. He's actually bringing me my dog box. He is an awesome dude. He's actually one of my favorite photographers. He shot me in the past and hopefully shoot me in the future in FD. I know we've chatted about that a bit. Not only is he an amazing photographer, he is an amazing driver. He's an up-and-coming grassroots driver, and he's been absolutely killing it lately. His chassis is really cool. It's similar to my Z. He's still VQ powered, but he just put like a full Cage Kits cage in it, and he's getting it all ramped up to take it more serious. So I'm super proud of him. And like I said, he's just a good homie. So clearly he drove, I think, down to Monroe today, which is like an hour south of his place. And then he's driving 2 hours back up to Canada right now to come bring me my GSR. So I'm going to get the transmission from him. I'm waiting around. And yeah, we'll show you the transmission when I get my hands on it.
The next day.
Good morning, guys. It's Boxing Day. I hope you guys had a great Christmas and good time with your family. Actually got some chance to take a break and are enjoying your break. I don't know when this video is going to go up, but I just wanted to add a little update to the car shopping and getting my new daily driver. As you can see, I'm not in something that I would buy. I am in a Nissan Pathfinder right now, which is a loaner car. This is my second loaner car from the dealership, by the way. The experience so far, I mean, I'm not thrilled about it. I guess I should kind of start in the beginning. It was car shopping. I ended up narrowing it down to 3 cars that I'd like to daily. I would want to trade my Tesla in on, and I kind of had a budget set in mind to work with. That was very realistic, what I wanted, like my bi-weekly to be and my term to be and like rough interest rate to be. Because we all know interest rates have dropped dramatically the last couple of years, and dealerships and banks are still trying to hold on to those high interest rates to get the most out of you they can. A little trick with the dealership is if you do have good credit, they are going to offer you the higher interest rate because they get a higher kickback. They can sell you on the bank's higher interest rate, the bank will reward them for it, right? So that's where they can make money in the back end. Of course, you can only get approved for a certain amount depending on how much your car loan's for and what kind of car it is, all that kind of stuff, and how old it is. One thing the dealerships can do that a lot of people don't know is they can actually buy the interest rate down. I knew that going into every car deal, and I knew that that's what I wanted to negotiate, was the dealership to physically pay to bring the interest rate down so that the buyer, myself, isn't getting bent over essentially over a 5-year term on a used car. So everyone's got to make money, everyone's got to pay the bills, life's got to stay on in a place, but there's such a thing as making a profit, and there's such a thing as absolutely gouging a customer. So I do feel bad for some of the people that, you know, don't take the extra steps and avenues, and dealership hides a payment into like a 96-month term, and they're like, oh, it's only like $250 every 2 weeks. Like, don't go to Starbucks every day and you can afford this car. Like, their tactics are so dirty. I used to work for one. I don't like them. I knew kind of what I want, and regardless of the fact of that, I mean, I needed to make a car deal. I wanted to get out of my Tesla. I wanted to get into something a little more practical for a daily driver. What I got, I feel is. I will show the B-roll of the car later. Anyways, my experience going from dealership to dealership over the 2 weeks looking for a car, I narrowed it down to I either want like a 2017 plus Civic Type R. I was on the top end of the budget of what I was wanting to spend. That's the first car that I went and actually started looking at, and I'm like, you know what? Let's see if I even like these things. I went to a dealership out in Coquitlam. All I can say about the Type R is it was very underwhelming. It wasn't anything special. It felt very cheap finished. The infotainment center and like the electronics of the car that interact with everything felt like an early 2000s car. Everything was super delayed. It had like no wireless CarPlay or anything. Like, I don't even think it had wired CarPlay. I took it for a drive. I hated it. I did not like the FK Type R at all. As much as I would love an FL5, I wouldn't even go and road test one because that's way out of my budget for a daily driver. But right there, Civic Type R was off the table. There are two cars that I was looking at, which one of them is like the same car. It's either a GR86 or BRZ. For some reason, the GRs are holding value a lot better. Cheapest GR that I could find that had higher mileage was like 28 grand. And it had, again, these are Canadian prices. I know they're a lot cheaper in the States, but 28 grand, it had more K on it. And then there was a couple of rebuilt titles that are like after big accidents that I could find cheaper that I don't want. But a clean GR would be anywhere in like the 32 to 35 range. Whereas I was finding the BRZs, which given the bumper in the front is a lot uglier than the GR, but everything else on the car is the same. I could find them anywhere from like 26 to 28. So I'm like, all right, that's more in the budget. I went and dealt with the Toyota dealership in Langley. They were actually really awesome to deal with. The salesman was awesome. We went and road tested it. I did throw a more aggressive offer at them of what I wanted to pay, and they did get close, but it wasn't quite where I wanted it to be, so I wanted a couple days to think it over. I had a great experience with them. Every dealership has dock fees and everything else. The thing that I did like about the Toyota dealership is for their dock fee, they give you a 5-year warranty on key fobs. So if you lose them, break them, anything, you essentially get a free key fob. So yes, you're paying a dock fee, but at least you're getting something out of it. If you do lose or break a key fob or whatever, at least you're not thinking about it like, oh, I gotta spend $400 for a fob now to get it, you know, I gotta get it programmed, you gotta get the fob cut out and all that stuff. Toyota dealership, I appreciated them doing that. At least they're giving you some kind of value. Do I still think it's too much? Definitely I do, but it's better than nothing. It's better than being like, here's our $9.95 dock fee, or here's our $13.95 dock fee, and you get nothing. That's just a dock fee. Like, what? What's the dock fee? The fact that the car has a fucking factory manual in it, or the fact that you have to do your job and actually input it into the computer, you're gonna charge $1,300 a car? Like, that's so out to lunch. I don't agree with the whole dock fee crap with dealerships, and I'll explain a little further, like, how they hide it into things. I used to work for a dealership. I was a mechanic, but I did deal with sales a lot, so I know all the games and I know all the strategies. Again, everyone's got to make money, but no one should be gouging. So anyways, I wanted to think about that one, and then I noticed that there was another BRZ at the Subaru dealership down the street. So I was like, oh, I'll go take a look at that one. It wasn't a Sport Tech, it was a premium, so it didn't have a few of the options that the one at Toyota had. When I looked at that car, I dealt with a lady, super, receptive, answered all my questions. From the sales side, she was awesome. Let me take the car out alone, no pressure kind of thing. We came down to talking numbers, and of course I shot my offer, which was actually a lot more realistic than the one from Toyota. And I showed them everything from Toyota. I showed what they offered me on trade. I showed all of the information. Like, I'm not going in there shooting darts at an empty dartboard, right? Like, there's a dartboard to shoot at, and I know where I can stand on it, right? So anyways, I started dealing with the sales manager, and this is always where it goes south. It's either dealerships have great sales managers, or they are just egotistical a-holes. They think the world revolves around them, and that's it. So I started dealing with the sales manager, started running numbers back and forth. He tries giving me the spiel like I don't know what I'm talking about, but given my past experience and my past job, I know exactly how it works. Long story short, we didn't come to a deal with that one. I was going down to the Toyota dealership down the street, and I was going to go sign the deal on that car, and I roll into the lot, and it's got a sold sign on it. So it's not meant to be. That's not the car I'm looking for right now, so I'm going to continue looking. And then I actually had the lady from Subaru message me the following day in the morning, and she's like, hey, I know you were looking for a WRX and STI, which is actually the other car that I was looking for. She's like, I just got a 2018 WRX in on trade. You should come look at it. It's full load. It's in your price range. It's got lower mileage, single owner car, no accidents. She's like, it's in great shape. And I'm like, that sounds awesome. She's like, and it's blue. I'm like, awesome, I like blue. Anyways, I went there on, I think it was the Thursday, and I looked at the car, I test drove it, I looked over it, and the guy, you could tell he took care of it. There was all weather mats in it. He had a Blackview front mirror camera set up in it. That was all left in there. So I'm like, okay, this guy took care of his car. Overall, all the service records were in there. It was serviced at the same dealership. Its whole life, it was every interval it needed done, it was done. Right down to diff fluids and everything. It was all done. So I'm like, this is a good car. It's got 96,000 K on it. The price is fair. Obviously, I want to negotiate a little bit on it. Went back to the dealership after the test drive. I'm like, you know what? I like it. Let's talk numbers. And I dealt with a different sales manager that day. Right off the bat, he was easier to deal with. I started talking numbers, and I'm like, look, man, full transparency. This is what I want for my trade. I already have this offer standing, and I have it written. So this is what I want for my car. This is the price on your car. It's not that I think it's unfair. I'd like to negotiate it down a little bit. I think I asked for, I don't know, I think it was $500 off the car. And then they had a $9.95 dock fee. Then they had the $9.95 recondition fee, which recon fee on there doesn't make any sense, because every dealership that takes a used car in on trade, when they take your car in on trade, they lowball your trade usually. They will charge anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 for a recon fee, depending on the year of the car. If the car needs more than that in recon fee, they wholesale them. They send them to auction. So with this deal, they were asking $24,900 for it. So I know that realistically they probably got that car in on trade for around $18,000, $19,000. So I'm like, I know there's room in it. Again, I know the dealership's got to make some money. I know I'm asking top dollar for my trade. But anyways, I presented the numbers. I'm like, I want this interest rate, which I know I should be easily accepted for. I want it no more than 60 months. I want the loan to be open so I can pay it off whenever. And I want the bi-weekly payment to be this. And I want to put X amount of money down to pay off the little bit of negative that I have on the Tesla, so that essentially I'm starting this car loan off fresh. I'm like, very simple. I'm like, if you can make this deal happen with these numbers, which I think in total, the money off the car and everything, it was $1,300 or $1,400 I was asking for off, which I was mainly trying to just get that recon fee and some of the dock fee off the car. I wasn't even upset with the price of the car. I just wanted those fees essentially dissolved a little bit, because I think it's BS to be charging those fees on a used car, especially the dock fee. That makes no sense. Dock fee was charged and freight and everything when the car was new. It's dumb. Oh, and finance fee. They had a $9.95 finance fee. If anybody wants to know, finance fee through a bank, usually a bank will charge you no more than $200 for a finance fee. So, I mean, the dealership, it's up to them if they want to be truthful. A lot of the times dealerships will eat the finance fee, or they'll show you the finance fee in your paperwork because it shows you how much it is. This dealership wanted $9.95 for a finance fee. I said, that's ridiculous. I'm not paying that. you need to take that off the price of the car. Like, now it's gone. We're not paying that. I'm not making a deal with that there. So anyways, he starts batting numbers back and forth with me. Comes back with a number that's like $20 more bi-weekly. So to put it in justification, if you're roughly sitting at like a 5 to 6% interest rate, every dollar on your bi-weekly is about $100 a 60-month term at the end. So if you go into a dealership and you're like, oh, I want to be at like $240 bi-weekly, and they come back and they're like, you know what, we did our best, the lowest we could get it down to was like $256. They're like, you're only paying $16 more than what you would have paid going into the deal where you wanted it originally. So $16 every 2 weeks, they're like, you're paying an extra $8 a week. Like, is that really gonna kill you? And, you know, they give you that whole spiel and they convince you, and they're like, oh, well, I guess it's not so bad. But if you put it into perspective, if you're at that interest rate for that term, over 5 years, the total difference that you're going to pay for that $16 with interest and everything is roughly about $1,600. So if you put it into the grand scheme of things, if you're buying a car for $24,900, you end up buying the car for $26,000, like whatever. It'd be over $26K, and that's ridiculous, right? Like, that's how they get you. Is they don't show you the final number. They get you with the payment, and so you got to be really aware. That's the number they're going to present. They're not going to be negotiating the final number with you, because if they were negotiating the final number with you, you get out of the seat and walk out of the dealership. They're going to negotiate bi-weekly with you, and that's the hook for them. So anyways, I know that. We ended up going back and forth. I wanted to be at a 240. He came back at 269. Nice. But too much for me. We went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I ended up coming up a little bit more money on my down, like barely, a couple $100. And I'm like, you need to adjust this more. And I'm like, you know what, I'll come up to 245 for a bi-weekly. You can get it there. I'll shake your hand. I said, I'm already going past my means of what I want to spend, but I'll come up to that, and if you can make it work, then you have a deal. So he starts running numbers back and forth, and he's giving me higher numbers, and I'm like, look, dude, I'm not playing games. This is what I want to pay. If you can make it happen, sweet. That's it. Final. There's no games about it. So he looks at me and he goes, so if I can get that to 245, you're gonna shake my hand and buy the car. And he like says it sarcastically, thinking I'm wasting his time. I'm like, yeah, 100%. You get that bi-weekly to 245 for that term, yep, you got a deal. I'll shake your hand. So he puts his hand out. I'm like, I shook his hand. Yeah, that's the deal I wanted. Then he gets up, and I'm like, that was easy enough, right? And he's like, no. So, like, well, I don't know why he's being arrogant. I don't know why he's giving me attitude back. That was kind of like oh, that's super professional and a nice way to deal with a customer. Like, the way I would have dealt with it is like, you know what, you're tough to negotiate with, but you know what you want, and I appreciate it, and I'm happy we came to a deal. That would have been a better way of going about it. I'm amazed at some of these dealerships and the ego that these sales guys, or sales managers, salesperson was great I dealt with, but the sales managers have is just unbelievable. My whole ride just started there. So we agreed on that deal. Of course, you go and sit down in the finance office, and you start running the numbers, and you start talking with the finance guy and then the finance manager, and they were also amazing to deal with. Super good guys. The manager and the finance guy himself were awesome. I have nothing but good things to say about those two. They worked for me, not against me. They tried to make everything happen, but of course the number came up higher. Interest rate ended up being higher because that's where they make their money, right? They get their kickback from the bank. Same thing in the finance office. I'm like, hey, that's great that it's like $249, but that's $4 more than we agreed on, right? That's an extra 400 some bucks at the end of the term, which in hindsight's not crazy, but a deal's a deal. We shook on it. I want that bi-weekly payment. I don't think it was unfair to ask for, so I stood my ground. I'm like, look, man, I'm in the finance office right now. You have me here in front of you, ready to buy the car. I shook his hand on that deal. Why is that deal not happening? They were putting different scenarios and stuff into the books to see if it can make sense, and you know, they kept coming up with like, this is the lowest we can get it, this is the lowest we can get it. So then I was waiting for them to trigger it, And they're like, look, we can't get the interest rate that low. I'm like, okay, well then what are we gonna do here? I'm letting them roll with it. I know that they can buy the rate down. So then finally the finance manager walks in, look man, if you're willing to put a little more money down, we can put that to the bank and buy your rate down to get your payment where you want. I'm like, oh, so there is a way forward. Okay. Well, talk to the sales manager and see if he'll take that fee that needs to go to the bank and he'll take it out of the deal. Either the base cost of the car, take more out of the doc fee, or put more money into my car. I mean, at the end of the day, we're dealing with about $400 or $500 here. I know this is a really long video for this, but I feel like you guys need to know the ins and outs of this so that when you guys go to a dealership, at least you guys are somewhat prepared. And if a dealership's not willing to work with you on this, then their numbers are just, they're firm, that's what they want to make, and they're willing to lose a sale over it. But if a dealership wants to make a sale, they will work with you on these numbers. But anyways, I'm gonna keep going here. I ended up negotiating with the finance manager, and he went and talked to sales, and back and forth. He came in the office and he's like, you're not willing to put any money down. I'm like, nope. Like, it has to work for that bi-weekly of what I negotiated with what I'm already putting down. We're gonna eat it. We're gonna eat the cost. We're gonna make the deal happen. You shook hands on that deal. I'm gonna honor it. So I said, thank you. Like, I appreciate that. I was sitting in the finance office for almost an hour at that point, but it shows at the end of the day, if the dealership's willing to make a deal and they want to sell a car, even though I've wasted some of my time, I mean, I saved another $500 of just saying, yeah, sure, you know what, if you can't get it, just make that $249 bi-weekly payment work. Well, me sitting in there for an hour is like me making $400. I saved that at the end of the term. I did get the car. I was stoked. It's something that I've always wanted to own. It's a 2018 WRX Limited or Sport Tech. Not sure, whatever the higher option is. It's leather and nav and everything, heated seats. All-wheel drive, has brand new winter tires on it. It went through the shop for their inspection, came back literally perfect. The brakes in the back were at 5 mil, so I know I'm gonna have to do the pads in the back and probably rotors in the next 5,000 K. But that's not a big deal, it's a cheap cost. But like, cool, it's an awesome daily. It's all-wheel drive, it's manual. But yeah, I was super stoked on that. So I grabbed the car, and that's where the craziness starts happening. Buying a car from the dealership, especially when they do their use inspection and they charge those crazy fees, you expect everything to be gone through like a fine-tooth comb. I'm driving home, I'm on the highway, I go to pass somebody, I roll into it, and it hits boost, and all of a sudden I see the RPMs like spike. Like, they lifted probably 1,500, 2,000 RPM past where they're supposed to be, and the RPMs held like a CVT. So I'm like, cool, clutch is slipping. Car's 96K, you know, meticulously owned. I did not think to check the clutch over to see if it was going to slip. If you know how to drive a stick, clutches are usually good to 150, 160K. But the clutch was slipping, so I messaged the sales lady that I was dealing with, and I'm like, hey, the clutch is slipping in this thing. How are we going to proceed with this? And she was super apologetic. She's like, bring the car back, we'll have our tech look over it, and we'll go from there. I'm like, cool, that's fair. So I get back to the dealership. I go for a road test with the tech. Tech was awesome. Their foreman's great, knows his stuff, able to replicate the problem pretty quickly. And he's like, yeah, no, it needs a clutch. I could feel it right when I push the clutch pedal down. It's too stiff. I guess with Subarus, when the clutch is on its way, on its last legs, the clutch pedal's a lot stiffer than it is with like a newer clutch. So we get back to the dealership. Tech talks to the sales manager. Sales manager I actually dealt with when I came back. I give big kudos to him. He's super nice. I honestly wish I dealt with that sales manager right off the get-go. Younger kid too, and you know what? Got his head on straight. Super proper. Talks to you nicely. You know, shakes your hand. Treats you like a customer. Doesn't treat you like somebody below him. So big kudos to that guy. I'm not naming names of these guys because it's not my place to do that, but you know the dealership I went to, and you can put 2 and 2 together for that. He dealt with all of it. He's like, yeah, no, we'll throw you in a loaner. I went to the island in a loaner with Maya. That's where I was filming that clip on the last video at the ending. We were in a loaner that day, but came back from the island, and so that would have been this week, and I think it was Tuesday. So at this point I have technically owned the car for almost a week. They're like, hey, your car's done, come pick it up. I'm like, cool, sounds good. I go pick the car up, look over it, I'm like, yep, everything's done. Clutch is way lighter than it was. Now that I know that, that's a good thing for me, because knowledgeably if I'm ever looking at those things again. If the clutch is heavy, it's either aftermarket or it's almost done. So that's a good point for me to know, and for you guys to know if you're looking at one. I ended up leaving the dealership. I'm like, I know it's a new clutch, so I don't want to roll it into boost. I want to give it a proper 500 kilometers, shift it a lot, bed the clutch into the machine flywheel again, so it's all good. I made it about 10 minutes. I took a right down one of the roads that's on its way to the highway, and I rolled into it just a little bit. Like, I think it got up to like 7 or 8 pounds of boost, and all I heard was like a foo-foo, like a big blow-off valve. And I'm like, this car's stock. That should not be making those noises. So I go to put my foot into it again, and the car's got nothing. I'm like, cool. Immediately what I think is charge pipe popped off. I pull over to the side of the road. I call the sales manager I dealt with right away. I'm like, hey man. He's like, hey, how's it going? Is everything okay? I'm like, I'm actually stuck on the side of the road, and the car won't start, it won't idle, it won't anything. And he's like, oh no. He's like, you know what happened? I'm like, I'm pretty sure this popped off. I'm just going off of assumption of being a mechanic. That's probable of what it felt like. So I'm gonna take a peek under the hood. And he's like, okay, that's fine. He's like, let me call you back. I'm gonna go deal with my service manager. Hang up the phone, I pop the hood. First thing I see is, yeah, the charge pipe that goes to the intercooler on the left side is popped out. So whatever tech was working on it obviously rushed the job a little bit, didn't cross his T's and dot his I's, just wanted to get the job out. I'm obviously a little irritated at this point. I know that if I can get that charge pipe at least like seated in there and not boost it back to the dealership, that'll save them the tow bill and the hassle of sending a driver out to me with a car. Actually noticed that the charge pipe, the little ear that sits on the rubber grommet, is also broken, and just probably neglect of rushing the job and trying to get it done. Which, given like those techs, I don't know how their pay structure works, but when I was at my dealership, I was flat rate. Quicker you get the job done, faster you get paid for that job. You don't make any less than that job, but if you can beat the time, you get paid more. So I know a lot of techs are incentivized to get jobs in and out of the shop quick that way to get more money. It's part of the reason I stopped being a dealership tech, because I didn't really like that. I did do well with it. I usually did like 95% of the time beat the book times, and I made decent money doing it, but I didn't like how customers were being treated, and I didn't like the dealership atmosphere when I worked there, given I did work there for almost 10 years. The guys I worked with were great, but there's always a few bad apples in every dealership. So regardless, I sent a video to the sales manager, and he's like, yeah, if you can limp it back, that's awesome. So I limp it back to the dealership, talk with the service manager. Service manager, again, he was acting similar to the other sales managers, and you know, he's defending his techs, which is good. I appreciate that out of him, but being a tech, like, they screwed up. They should have had their foreman working on the car to cross the T's and dot the I's. Being that I'm a comeback customer already, that's a red flag, and you do not want to have a tech that's not going to complete the job successfully working on that car for this exact reason of me coming back now a fourth time to drop the car off again and be put into this loaner. So I pretty much just told them, like, look man, you guys need to get your top tech on this car. He needs to go over all the work that the last tech did to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Like, I bought a car, I've owned it for almost a week. Now I've owned it for over a week, and I've driven it home and back one. I'm making payments on a car that I'm not even driving, so it sucks. Kind of understood that. I told the sales manager that he asked me what he could do for me on his side, and I said, honestly man, like, if you can compensate me for my lost time, that would mean a lot to me. I'm gonna see how they dealt with that, and it'll probably be in this video later, explaining how the rest of the deal went through. And if the deal went through well, then I will say good things about them, but if it did not go through well, then you guys will get full transparency from me. I like being honest with you guys. I like being honest with myself. I'm not gonna pump tires to anybody that doesn't deserve to have their tires pumped. I'll pump the tires of the people that, you know, do deserve it, and I have in this video. But if they do end up watching this, I hope they learn from it, and I hope that, you know, even so being a corporate company and they have their way of doing things, they take something from this whole transaction and learn from it and be better for the next set of people. I'm really trying to give them a 5-star review still. It's all going to depend on the full outcome of everything. But as it sits right now, that's where we're at. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated and in the loop. I know this is going to be a long video and a lot of me talking. You guys seem to like the talking videos and the informative ones, so I don't mind doing them. I hope you guys get something out of that, and I'll continue the video on later. How's it going, guys? Well, we finally made it to the end of the video, and I'm happy to say I got the car back so I can show it to you guys. As you can see, we're sitting inside of it right now. It's pretty nice. Super happy to have it back. They made everything right. I dealt with the sales manager again that was there before, and good guy to deal with. He did compensate me for my time, and that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it. The experience was good. I would give him a 5-star. Obviously, stuff does happen and things do go sideways sometimes. When things go sideways, that's really where your true colors shine as a dealership or an owner or any company. For the most part, I feel if you make it right or you make the situation better than you started with, especially when stuff goes wrong, then it makes everything kind of okay. But if you don't take care of the people that come to you for service or come to you to buy a car or come to you because they trust you or you've had a good reputation, if you don't take care of those people, that's how you end up losing business. So they made it right. I will use them again if I have to. I will recommend them to people, and overall I had a pretty good experience, I would say, with them. But yeah, I'll show you guys around it. I'm super stoked on it. I've always wanted one of these, so this will be my daily for the next bit here, and we'll see if we do any mods to it. I might do a couple little things to personalize it. I actually already picked up a set of lowering springs for it, and then we'll probably just do wheels, and maybe I'll do like a custom fabbed exhaust or something on it. But keep it simple. It's just a daily. It's nothing. It's not one of my race cars. It's not like the crazy summer car, but this is kind of the all-around car for me right now. I can have a little bit of fun with it, but it's still a good, reliable daily, and then we put the rest of the money into the FD program. So enjoy some B-roll.
Kato?
Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I really appreciate you guys watching through if you went all the way through it. I know that was a lot of information, but if I had that info when I was buying cars in my younger years, I think I would have appreciated it. So any information that I can pass on to you guys that I know, and any tips or tricks that you guys can pick up on and save yourself some bucks here and there at these dealerships. I guess it's kind of like a how to not get taken advantage of at a dealership video. I know it's a little bit different than the regular content that we do, but I feel like if I'm doing this YouTube stuff, I got to be true to myself and true to you guys and take you along for every step that I do, at least as best I can. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got some good information out of it. There's going to be some more updates on the car. There is some news back that's bad news and as well as good news. We do have a way forward for stuff. I don't want to spoil it in here, but it's involving the new car and the way forward with it for ProSpec. It is pretty torn apart right now. I'll update you guys on that as things develop and I get the next videos pushed out. It's exciting, don't worry. We are definitely going to Formula Drift. It's just nothing ever goes smooth, and we do believe in the theory of trust the process. Everything happens for a reason. Everything has happened for a reason the last 3 years. It's why we are where we are now, and just got to keep trusting the process. So anyways, I'm going to end the video here. If you guys want to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys have any comments of anything else you guys would like to see. Anyways, I hope you guys had a safe and happy holidays, and I'll see you in the next one.
Searching for a piece of